In this video, we're going to work some practice questions dealing with bivariate data. And if we look at question number 1, it states which shows the least correlation. And we have a set of values that we're going to take a look at. And we're looking for least correlation. If you remember, this is a scatter plot, and it is value that's usually given to you is usually R. That is our correlation coefficient. And when we're looking at the R value, we look at the absolute value of R, and the closer it is to 1, that indicates correlation. So when we look at each of these values, again, the absolute value, it doesn't matter if it's positive or negative. When we're looking at this negative 0.99 and 0.99 with respect to it having correlation, those both have an equal amount of correlation. They are very correlated, close to 1. So when we look at that, that's going to give us an option of C of 0. 0 is going to have the least amount of correlation, basically no correlation. So that's answer choice C. Question 2 says, if it is found that there is a correlation of exactly negative 1.0 between two variables, which of the following is not true? So this is not true when we have this correlation of negative 1.0. So what about, we have to look through each of the options. The first one says there is a strong association between the two variables. That is true, and the reason that is true, because remember, we're looking at the absolute value of that R value. The absolute value of negative 1.0 is 1.0. This is a very high correlation. This is complete correlation, most. So F is out. That's true. We're looking for not true. G says there is a negative association between the two variables. This is true. This negative value on the negative 1.0, that's where we get the negative association. So that's a true statement. It's out as an answer option. H says this is an example of perfect correlation. And that is true again because we have this 1.0 value. When we take the absolute value of the negative, that's going to give us the 1.0. That is perfect correlation. True statement, so that's out. J says there is no association between the two variables. Okay, that contradicts answer choice F because there is an association between the two variables. J is going to be our answer. But let's look at K. It says the relation of the two variables is inverse, and that is true. Because when we just glance at a scatter plot, when we have a negative 1.0 correlation, we have a negative slope, and that means a increase in our X value results in a decrease in our Y value. We can see that as we increase each X value, the Y values decrease. That's an inverse relation. That's out. So that gives us answer choice J for number 2. Taking a look at number 3, it says a study on TV viewing reported the following results. The correlation between the number of hours of TV watched each day and a person's average weight gain is 0.75. So we have an R of 0.75. That is a positive correlation that we're looking at. These are just some items that I'm noting as I'm reading the question. Then it says the correlation between the number of hours of TV watched each day and the number of books read each month is negative 0.45. So we have a negative correlation. So now it asks us which of the following statements are true. So we're looking for true statements. I statement says, as the number of hours of TV watched each day increases, a person's average weight gain increases. Well, let's take a look at what these R values tell us. So we could do a quick plot, and here we have the correlation between, we're looking at hours of TV, and this one was for the weight gain. It was 0.75. So we have in general a positive correlation there, meaning as number of hours of TV increases, weight increases. And is that not what number 1 says? The number of hours of TV watched increases, a person's average weight gain increases. Yes, so 1 is true. So number 1 is true. let's look at question number 2. As the number of hours of TV watch day increases, a person's average weight gain does not change. Well, no, that contradicts statement 1 and our scatter plot. Average weight does increase. So this one's going to be false. That one is out. Take a look at number 3. As the number of hours of TV watched each day increases, the number of books read each month increases. Okay, let's see. That went along with our second result, which stated, let's do our scatter plot of that. It had the hours of TV on the x-axis, and then we have books read on the y-axis, and it had a negative 0.45 correlation. So that is more in a negative direction. My slopes are I'm just sort of eyeballing it, but it's a negative 4.5, not exactly a complete correlation on either one of these, but we have in general. And if we look back at number 3, it said as number of TV hours watched each day increases, the number of books read each month increase. Well, this is showing as TV hours increase, the number of books read decreases. So this one's going to be a false statement. So that one's out. 4 says weight gain increase is more strongly related to the number of hours of TV watched each day than the number of books read each month. So this is a different thing than what we've looked at in the first 3 statements. What we can see here, though, we're looking at the strength of the correlation coefficient. And this is going to be a true statement because we can look at this without regard to the positive or negative, but then we compare. Remember, the closer we are to 1, the more correlation. And the relationship with TV and weight gain is a 0.75, and TV and books read is the 0.45. This is the larger value with the person's weight, and so that's what they said. It has a more strongly related, so that we get that from the values themselves. So our true statements, when we look at our options to look at, are going to be 1 and 4 only, which is answer choice E. Let's take a look at number 4. It's going to ask us about some scatter plots. Which scatter plot shows no correlation between the data? And we want to be familiar with our scatter plots and what they show. Answer choice A is going to show us a positive correlation, and that's going to be indicated by the positive slope that almost, I'm just eyeballing a line through there that would show. Let's skip on down to answer choice C. We have here a negative slope. We're going to have a negative correlation, but these are both, they have probably a pretty high level of correlation. But look at B. Our values are scattered, so there's nowhere we can really draw a line except for maybe a horizontal line, and that would be close to 0 correlation. So that's going to be a no correlation, and that would make answer choice B be the correct answer for question number 4.